Before this video starts, I would just like to say that I will be streaming tomorrow, Saturday, October 13th at 4 p.m. GMT. That's 11 a.m. Central Time. Hope to see you there! Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be testing the Lamborghini Egoista in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. Yes, I finally pronounced it correctly. I spent probably 5,000 to 6,000 tokens in order to 2-star this car, and it has been very, very good this multiplayer season. So my tuning is 6666. Upgraded fully to the point that I can with 2 stars. I wanted to wait until I 2-starred this card to make a video about it so that I could make it purple, which you cannot do at 1 star. And of course, the car is better at 2 stars than 1 star as well. And as you will see in this video, at 2 stars, this car starts up faster, ever so slightly, but still faster than a 4-star Vulcan. The Egoista's acceleration stat is actually above 80, which is akin to cars like the Acura or the Rizvani Beast X. And at this rank, the Egoista goes 229 miles per hour, which is almost 10 miles per hour faster than a 4-star Vulcan. Also, this car's nitro efficiency is extremely good, as you can see here, and throughout the video, even its shockwave lasts quite a long time. So basically, the Egoista is a very, very well-balanced car. It has no real bad stats or any hampering characteristics about it. Plus, at 2 stars, this car can get the 100,000 credit time goal in the expert credit races, which is quite nice, and even a 2-star Icona may struggle to do that. And speaking of the Icona, I obtained it just earlier today in this game. I believe it goes like 240 miles per hour just at 1 star, so I definitely look forward to testing that in some upcoming multiplayer season. However, this Egoista, really, it's my favorite car in the game to drive right now, and the Icona has got to be really good to surpass that, because I haven't actually played in it yet. So we're coming up to the end of this race. The car behind me right now is a 4-star Vulcan. While they're not as fast as the Egoista, nor do they accelerate as fast, nor do they have as good of nitro efficiency, there are some really skilled drivers in those Vulcans. So if you're in an Egoista, the Vulcans are probably the cars you're going to have the hardest time with, but you will be able to beat them most of the time, even if it's a bit of a fight. So here we've beat 3 4-star Vulcans as well as a 3-star Egoista. Those are rare on Windows. On other platforms, I know higher star Egoistas are probably more common because people have them from soft launch. However, on Windows, you don't see too many above 2 or 3 stars. So my strategy in multiplayer races is to basically try to stay away from people if I can, and then get past them on the jumps and stuff like that, and usually it works pretty well. However, there are those times when I'm passing somebody, and then they just kind of randomly 360 me, or push me to the side, or something like that. Because when you have a high rating in multiplayer, you get put further back at the start, which means you have to pass everybody in order to get first. And only if you come in first or second, or maybe possibly third above 1800 rank are you going to go up in points. Otherwise, you're going to go down. You can see how this is difficult. Having a car like the Egoista or Vulcan definitely makes it easier, but there's still those annoying races where you just cannot seem to get past people, which is more often than not because of a knockdown, at least in my experience. However, with the Egoista, I have usually been able to win the races that I haven't gotten knocked down in. When I get knocked down, however, it's a different story, and I usually end up losing a bunch of points because I either come in one of the last positions and go down 30, or leave and go down 30. And you go up less for coming in first than you go down for coming in last. All of this has stemmed from the change that made it so you lose points pretty much every time you leave, except for your very first race of the day. This has definitely made it more challenging to get to Legends League, but the fact that there are now really good rewards for getting like top 50 and then top 1, 2, and 3, which is good, but the problem is that just makes it so that people play much more aggressively than they would before. You have a lot more people just aggressively 360ing and trying to knock down everybody else, which, I mean, makes sense given the amount of rewards given, which is a huge amount, but it just makes everybody extremely frustrated. I have seen many people quitting multiplayer over this, so I really think the best solution to this system would not be to reduce the rewards, would not be completely removing point loss when leaving, but to instead introduce a consistent tiered point loss system like in Asphalt 8. The first time you leave, you lose 2 points, the second time 7 points, and the third time and beyond that 10 points. Dr. Helution suggested this in the Asphalt 9 Facebook page, however he also added a free first leave, meaning that the first time you would lose no points, second time you would leave 2, and so on. This would definitely make it easier to reach higher ratings, however, it would cause people to be a lot less frustrated and cause less people to leave. And I definitely think it would be best for the game in the end. So in this race, we have beat 2 other Egoistas, 2 Vulcans, as well as a Lamborghini Centenario, which I do have at 4 stars, and I have not yet tested it in multiplayer this season, mainly because, well, I don't want to risk it being horrible, because I honestly don't know how it will be in multiplayer. That's another problem with the system of pretty much always losing when you go down. People are scared to test anything, which means all you're going to see in multiplayer are those tried and true things, and some other cars which may be really good, and you may not know it yet, just don't get tested. And so if this system stays, guys, and I'm going to try to do this as well, do your car testing near the beginning of the season, because near the end of the season, you're really going to want to focus on your best cars that you know are really good and can get you rating. Early on, you can do your tests, and who knows, maybe find out that you do have another car that can do really well that you didn't know of before. So I do want to test the Centenario and the F12 and cars like that in multiplayer, but they will probably have to wait until a later season. This season, I'm going to try to get to as high of a rating I can. Hopefully, maybe, just maybe, get enough Fenner blueprints to win the Fenner, because that car is very good. And I think a multiplayer video about that would surpass pretty much a multiplayer video about anything else. But for those of you guys wanting a Vulcan multiplayer video, which I know has been a long time coming, I do have that coming fairly soon as well. I've recorded races with that just earlier in the season, and so I'm planning to make that probably next week, so be on the lookout. We lost to a higher ranked Egoista, but we did meet 2 fellow Legions United members. If you're interested in joining Legions United, check out a recent video I made about that, and I will put a link to it in the description. So this is a track that I struggled on quite a while to figure out just how to get fastest through the beginning. The best way to do it, I believe, is to wiggle drift up through here, round the corner, and then shockwave up this barrel roll here, and then go up the next one as well. As you can see, doing this has allowed me to pass everybody else, then shockwave here to get up to speed, so that you don't lose too much speed going around these corners here. Asphalt 9, more so than any other game before it in the series, is about momentum. Because you can't just wiggle drift and pick up speed easily like you can in Asphalt 8. You really have to plan exactly where you're going to use nitro and stuff like that. But as you play on the different variants of the different tracks more and more, you just start to get in the groove of where to do what, and it becomes a lot simpler than you might originally expect. And the reason I go the same route with practically every single car on every single track is because it's the route that I've found and other people have found to be the best ones. So we're coming up to the end of this race here. In this race, we are facing 3 Vulcans as well as 1 Centenario. See if you can guess who came in second position. I really do think the Lamborghini Centenario is a lot better car than people give it credit for. We faced that same 3400 Centenario again in this race, as well as a Ford GT and 4 Aston Martin Vulcans. 2 of them at 4-star and 2 of them at 3-star. Pretty much everybody on Windows now who plays the game regularly has at least 3-starred their Vulcan, and most of them have 4-starred it. And because it's fairly easy to obtain and get more blueprints for, it is by far the predominant multiplayer car in this season, especially at higher ratings. And as I said, I will be uploading a multiplayer video about it with races from this season probably next week. I said in a previous video, Scotland is probably my least favorite track in Asphalt 9. Actually, in that video I said Asphalt 8, and there were probably a dozen comments at least calling me out for that. But since that Bugatti Chiron event, you guys remember that, the Paris Motor Show Cup, which actually is still going as of me recording this voiceover. Anyway, through that, I got better at Scotland, I believe, and now, I don't know, I mean, even though I still don't particularly enjoy racing on it, it's not as bad as it was before. So honestly, playing those events over and over again, even if it's not to get better at a track, most people just do it for the rewards, does help you get better at the tracks. Like that Chiron event helped me get better at Scotland, and the Unleashed event for the Egoista has helped me get better at that certain variant of the San Francisco track. And because parts of some variants are also in other variants, it just helps in general a lot. So here, this Centenario came in second again, followed by the Ford GT. Wow. In this race, we have 2 Vulcans as well as a Ferrari LaFerrari. Now you may wonder, Why don't you see Ferraris more often in multiplayer? After all, it has a top speed, even just at 1 star, of 227 miles per hour, which is faster than the Vulcan by like 5 miles per hour, and hardly any slower than the Egoista. Well, the reason for that is, it is not exactly the easiest car to get. You have to complete a lot of seasons in career in order to get the car, and I myself just got it, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago. And while it is fast, it doesn't have any other particularly great qualities. Like, its acceleration is definitely below average, as you could see at the beginning of this race. And while it definitely gets better as you start up, it's very difficult to start up, because the only places to get blueprints for it are in career, and I do not believe there are actually enough blueprints in career to 2-star it, and definitely not 3-star it. And the only other ways to get it are through the Legend Store for tokens. It's like 215 tokens for one, and then the price goes up if you want to buy more of them. And the final way is you have a very small chance of getting them in the A-Class events. You know, the ones held on Thursday that give blueprints for the A-Class cars, just like there's ones held other days of the week for D, B, C, and S-Class cars. So in this race, we have made it to 1900 rating, beating those 2 Vulcans, and that poor LaFerrari came in last. It really just does not seem to be a great car for multiplayer. But who knows, maybe that will change as more people manage to star it up. So for our final race of the video, we have a battle with 2 3-star Aston Martin Vulcans, as well as I believe a 3-star Ford GT. Possibly a 4-star, I'm not sure about that. So I guess now I'll give my general review of this car. As I've said throughout the video, it is a very good car, and maybe not worth spending 5,000 tokens on, but at least enough to get this car, because it's really good for S-Class stuff, and it's very good in this multiplayer season, and because of its great acceleration and just great qualities pretty much all around, I expect it to be very good in any upcoming multiplayer seasons where you can use it along with other A and S-Class cars. And I would say that if you won this car, you should definitely try to get as high on the multiplayer leaderboards as you can, because not especially a whole lot of people did manage to get this car because it was quite expensive to obtain. It would cost many thousands of tokens to just get it. So if you got this car, take advantage of that. Try to get as high in multiplayer as possible, because this would be a great season to do it, especially since I have no idea whether they're going to change the system back or not with the whole losing points thing. Thank you for watching. Please like if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 and 9 content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!